Lots of scrap projects already exist, but I think this one will change how you view your scrap pile. Today, we're going to combine woven fabric scraps with lace and mesh to create a gorgeous pair of underwear. I'm going to use wool tartan fabric left over from bra sewing for this pair of underwear. For the pattern, I'll be using version 2 of the It's Not Me, It's You pattern collection, which has a little section that I think is perfect for using scrap fabrics. However, any pattern will work for this project, and you can draft a similar piece from any pattern you're using. Woven fabrics are not typical for underwear since stretching is pretty important. To get around this, you could sew the woven fabric on the bias for some stretch, but I wanted my plaid orientation to match my bra. This meant that I needed to compensate for the lack of stretch in the overall width of the underwear, and you will likely need to do the same thing. I actually sewed 2 pairs of test underwear because I was not sure how much the woven fabric would affect the overall width of the underwear. The first pair used all stretch fabric, and I sewed it as the same circumference as my block. The second pair used the woven scrap, and I sewed it 1 inch larger in total circumference. Ideally, everything would be the same between both pairs except the centerpiece of fabric, but I ran out of fabric. So the next best thing was using fabric with a similar stretch factor. Both pairs fit really well, meaning the woven fabric had a pretty large effect on the underwear, considering there's an inch difference between the 2 pairs. A good place to start guesstimating with how much extra width to add when sewing with woven fabric is to add 1 inch per every 4 inches of woven fabric. I wouldn't recommend sewing with a larger woven piece than 4 inches because the lack of stretch might become uncomfortable. The rest of this pattern has many pieces, which is tedious to sew, but really makes using scraps simple. All those little pieces of fabric that are left between cutting larger pattern pieces can actually become an entire pair of underwear. I'm going to show you how to sew this pair of underwear in the next video, and I hope you have a new appreciation for your scrap pile.